inspire our viewers to thrive, not just survive. Let's take a moment and introduce your Thrive Tribe. Noel Ramos, investment coach from Atlanta, Georgia. Sabrina Protic, author and life coach from Tampa Bay, Florida. Stacy Pesaw, life coach from Palm Harbor, Florida. Gina Marie Casano, transformational coach from Bayville, New York. Whitney Hartford, social media influencer from Miami, Florida. Genesis Haycrick, workflow coach from Sarasota, Florida. Brianna Johnson, financial coach from Chicago, Illinois. Sylvia Camacho, financial coach from La Habra, California. Let's get ready to be empowered, and here's your Thrive Tribe. Thriving Women Talk is powered by the Trendsetters Mentor Group, an exclusive membership for mentorship on Facebook.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Thriving Women Talk. My name is Gina Marie Casano. I'm speaking live with the Thrive Tribe from across the world. Our mission each week is to engage our inspiring guests on topics that enlighten and empower our viewers to thrive while becoming the best version of themselves. 2020 has been nothing short of challenging. However, it has also been an amazing year in many ways, actually. Not only did we survive 2020, but we also thrived. And so what we have in store for you this year will be unprecedented. I'm so excited to share it with you. We're all excited to share it with you, our listeners from across the globe. And today we have an enlightening show on the power of vision boards. And so we invited Emma Jane Taylor, author of the book, Don't Hold Back. Emma is streaming live from London, England. We're very excited to have her back on Thriving Women Talk to share her passion, her mission, and some details around her book. And for the benefit of our new viewers this year, we decided to start season 2 by interviewing our co-hosts and sharing our passion, our purpose, and some of our history so you get to know us a little bit better. We call ourselves the Thrive Tribe because we're literally a tribe of 8 women entrepreneurs, as you can see, from diverse ethnic backgrounds and religions around the United States. And we have a common passion of coaching and empowering people. And so what makes our Thriving Women Talk unique is our conversations are non-political, they're non-religious, they're non-gossip, which permits us the opportunity to share conversations that enlighten, engage, empower, and encourage our viewers to flourish and thrive. And Thriving Women Talk began as a podcast back in 2019, which seems like so long ago, and evolved into an internet talk show, and now we're an internet show streaming live in 170 countries on the SIBN network. So we are very excited about that. This year is going to be amazing. And so now I want to bring on Noel, one of our co-hosts. Let's bring up Noel. There we are. There she is. Noel is a registered investment advisor from the state of Georgia, and she was one of the original co-hosts on the Thriving Women show.
Yes.
She's awesome, has been a mentor to all who came in after. And so, Noel, we want to learn a little bit more about you. So if you could describe your personality in 3 words.
Whew.
Why you chose those words?
So it's definitely been a journey since we started back in 2019. I can tell you this, and it keeps growing. The show keeps growing, keeps thriving, and I love it. So a couple things about me is I'm really actually an introvert, I'd have to say. It takes a lot of work out of me to be like on this show. It's not, my usual comfort zone. So usually when I'm having to be an extrovert, it takes a lot of energy out of me. So usually I'm okay with being a loner and kind of just keeping to myself. That doesn't bother me, but I realize that I have to branch out and do those uncomfortable things that normally I wouldn't do. So definitely I'm an introvert, and I'm trying to, get out of that shell. Secondly, I try to be a positive person. I try to find the best out of bad situations. You know, we all have our moments, but for the most part, I usually try to make jokes whenever possible. I kind of pride myself on being just a little bit weird. I like being weird and not having to be normal and staying in the box. I definitely try to get out of the box when I can. And thirdly, you know, I've been told I was a sandbagger. And so what I mean by that is I usually don't show my skills until I really absolutely have to. And then I try to be my true authentic self and not kind of try to be something I'm not. And so I've been called a sandbag because I don't show what I know. I just, whenever I need it, it comes out.
Yeah, it just shows up authentically.
Right.
I love it. Wonderful. So tell us about, you've seen a lot of change in the last 12 months or more. So from your perspective, what change excited you the most?
With this show, you know, I started from the beginning, and the fact that we've have such a diverse group of women, it really shows that I don't always like some of the topics on the show, but the fact that, you know, we can have such a diverse group of women, and I have my aha moments where I can see things differently from a different perspective. And I hope that our listeners, you know, will be able to do the same, where they find their aha moment, like, oh, well, I didn't look at it the same way. And, you know, there's so many of us on the show. I hope that each of them can find the person that they can relate to and say, oh, well, you know, that person's kind of like me, and just hopefully they can grow from it and know that they're not alone, and know that everybody struggling has some of the same struggles as they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So if I were to ask you, what is your passion and your purpose, what would you say?
Well, the fact that I'm an investment coach, you know, I've always been pretty savvy about saving money, but not sure quite what to do with that money. You know, our parents always teach us sock it away in the bank. So my passion is the fact that I get to teach people how to protect their income and how to help it grow and how to make it work for them. And I love the fact that, you know, that light bulb goes off whenever I'm speaking to them, like, you can do that? Well, yeah, you can do that, you know, and that's why I love I became an investment coach, because I get those moments where I get to shed light on people and give them hope and give them the fact that they might have security in their future when they go to retire.
Yeah, absolutely. We need a little bit of security, a little bit in the bank, just in case something comes up. You never know, right?
Right.
So very cool. Thank you so much. It's nice getting you out there a little bit.
Yes.
People learn a little bit more about you. Awesome. Thank you. Let's bring on our newest co-host, Genesis Hay Crick, workflow coach and author of the book, Unleash Your Potential, Run the Best Race of Your Life. She's from Florida. Welcome, Genesis. And you're on mute. The world of technology. Yeah, no problem. It seems to be a thing this year, last year. So Genesis, we want to get to know you a little bit, right? So how would you describe your personality in 3 words and why you chose those words?
Oh, that's tough to narrow it down to 3 words, because I feel like I'm under the umbrella of so many different things as someone that's become a life coach and then moved on to working with people in so many different facets. But I guess if I were to pick 3 words, I would have to say optimistic, creative, and motivating.
Yeah.
And, I just absolutely love encouraging people to find their value, find their gift in this world, and to be able to use that every single day, I think is what gives us the greatest amount of fulfillment. And there's so many different ways that we can use our gifts to change lives. And so part of what I love about what I do is helping people to find that purpose in the way that they work throughout their day. And so as a workflow coach, we identify the different areas of their life where they're working and where they're flowing. And so obviously we don't want to all just be working all day, every day. We want to find that comfortable balance that's going to give us the ability to be able to bring everything together, from quality moments to doing those activities that you love every single day, and to work in a way that brings you the ultimate joy and happiness.
Wow. Awesome. So let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
What's important about helping and empowering others? Why is that important to you?
Well, growing up, I didn't have any direction at all. And I always say to myself and to my clients and to colleagues, gosh, if I would have had what I know now back then,
Right.
I feel like my life would be entirely different. So I just feel like giving people more of what they already have and helping them to use the gift that they currently utilize, but also taking them to a different place in terms of looking at their mindset and looking at ways that we can branch off into doing more than we're already doing. And so there's a greater capacity, I feel like, in the knowing to be able to achieve goals and to be able to do more every single day, more of what we love, more of what brings us joy, more of what gives us those opportunities to change lives. So I feel it's a ripple effect. If I can change just one life, you can change thousands of lives. So I go about my day with that mindset that I could run into somebody, I could work with somebody, I could network with someone that I could touch in just some capacity, just a small capacity that could evolve into a great snowball effect and to change many lives. So I just love empowering people. I feel like it's a great way to truly make the world a better place.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. We only have a short time left, so we're happy to have you on the team. Just one more quick question. What inspired you to write your book?
I feel like that a lot of us are not unleashing our potential to our greatest capacity. So hence the name Unleash Your Potential. And there's so much about being able to look internally and express it externally. So my thought in writing the book was to give people an opportunity to really look at their mission, their values, and their lifestyle and ask them, is that what you truly want? Are you happy and fulfilled in where you are right now? And if not, why not? And giving them some extra tools and strategies to be able to truly unleash what they have inside is going to give them, again, that great level of fulfillment that they're so desiring, and to make the most out of every single day.
Awesome. And I'm excited to talk more later about vision boards. So we will definitely come back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So let's bring on Sabrina. There she is.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Oh, so nice to see you again.
Yes.
Sabrina Protic is a life and financial coach from the state of Florida. She's also the author of the book Growing Ageless, Think Young, Live Younger, and co-founder of WEE, Women Entrepreneurial Empowerment, a place where women network to foster empowerment, support, growth, and strategic business development and community enrichment. So we're so happy that you're here.
Thank you, Gina. I'm excited.
Sabrina, briefly describe your personality in 3 words and why.
Vibrant, spirited, and genuine. And anyone that knows me, they know I rock the room with energy. That's just who I am. And I'm always going to show up like, hey.
Love it. And I've gotten to know that about you. So that's...
that's just who I am. My little granddaughter's like that, at least one of the twins. And she shows up like, everybody's here for me. Everybody's here for me. She got that from grandma. So that's just who I am. Just a lot of energy.
Yeah. And you bring it.
I bring it all the time.
For all of us. Awesome. So another question I have for you that we'd like to know, what inspired you to write your book?
Survival. So, this vibrant, spirited, energetic person got lost. I went through a major challenge in my life and I lost all of that personality. And I just became somebody that it even surprised me. And I was able to grow out of that. So it's not what you go through in life, it's what you grow through. So I was able to grow through it And as I was coming out on the other side of it, I realized I had lost my complete identity and who I was, and I had to get back to that person. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I hadn't gone through that. So part of life is to inspire other people. You know, when you go through a journey, the real heroes are the people that come out on the other side and they teach other people. You know, many doctors have become doctors because maybe a parent died of cancer, or they lost a spouse, and I'm going to go to school. Or attorneys become attorneys because something bad happened legally to someone they love. Well, for me, this is my labor of love. It's my life. It's my story, my journey. And I want to use that part of my life to help other people. So when they go through those steps, and they will, because this happens to a lot of people, not just me, this is how they can grow through it. So it's my gift to others to help them go through those journeys.
I love that so much, and that resonates because I too believe, and I think that knowing most of us on here, that sharing our stories can be very vulnerable and scary, but actually it's courageous and empowering. And what that does is, like you said, it shows other people they're not alone. Right? We go through things, which is why we usually end up, when we're passionate and we have a purpose of getting into coaching or helping others, right? That's where that comes from. So I love to hear that. Amazing. Why are you passionate about the thriving women?
Well, it goes hand in hand with what I truly believe, and that's empowerment. And I was so attracted to this because it's about surviving, which I had gone through that. But it also helps with the tool set of surviving now and recreating and, you know, information. You know, you've heard knowledge is power. So we get so much knowledge and empowerment. And what I really like about Thriving Women is we don't talk about the bad. I mean, we know there's bad going on. We talk about how to live through the bad and how to come out on the other side. So you'll find on our show that we focus on the solutions. We focus on the wonderful things that have happened, people that have discovered things and empowered and changed the world. And that's my belief system, you know, helping people change the world through empowerment and knowledge. And that's why I love Thriving Women.
Awesome. And, you know, it's so relevant to our show today, where you focus, right? Because we're talking about vision and purpose. And so, you know, what you said is what you focus on is, you know, it's what you're going to get. And that's true. So if you focus on the negative, you're going to live in that moment. You're going to live in that negativity. It's very hard to thrive when you're living in and you're focusing on all of the bad or all of the negative. However, when you shift your mindset from focusing on just what's going wrong to what has gone well, what am I doing well, and maybe what can be improved, always looking to inspect and adapt and grow and evolve, that's when shift happens and you go from surviving to thriving. It's when you shift your focus.
Exactly. We're on the same page. That's why we're Thriving Women together. I love it. Yeah. Our show producer always says it one thing before I go: vibration. We're on the same vibration. And this powerful group of women, we have the same vibe, and that is empowerment, knowledge, and helping people adapt to change in a positive manner.
Love it. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoy being here with you.
Thank you.
And so now we're going to bring on Stacy. There she is. Ah, wonderful. Stacy Piesel is a friend and a life coach from the state of Florida and author of the book, Love Yourself Healthy, 7 Steps to Release Emotional and Physical Pounds. So Stacy, I'm so glad to be here with you every week. Yes. If you could describe your personality so others can get to know you a little bit more, describe your personality in 3 words that stand out the most and why you chose those words.
Yes, I'd say integrity, empowering, and loving. And, you know, when I thought about the words to select, the high level of integrity really brings me back to my greatest mentor, who was my grandfather. And he said, without your word, you don't have anything. So that's something, he did everything on a handshake before contracts and everything. And that's how he lived his life. And it really was something that was so profound for me that was such an important thing. And this show has that as well. So I love being a part of that, and empowering. I've just been born to. That's just what I love to do, inspire and to help people to believe in themselves and to love themselves. And so loving, that's definitely, I would say that's part of kind of just who I am, my personality, wanting to have people to be able to love themselves unconditionally in all areas, physical, mental, spiritual, all areas.
And I know that about you. And I love that about you. You know, it's interesting what you said, be true to your word, right? That's one of the 4 agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of the things I stand by is, you know, just be true to your word. Even if something shifts and that can no longer happen, just stand up and be authentic, right? And be open and honest. And that's really, your word is everything. That is the integrity. So love, love, love that. Awesome. So what inspired you to write your book?
It actually was my daughter. So, you know, in the intro of the book, I share the story behind that, where my daughter at the time was 10 years old, and she almost died from an illness that nobody knew what was going on. And, you know, during that time, really led me on a quest to become a health coach. That was my start of the journey, because I wanted to find out like how to heal her. She ended up having her gallbladder removed at the age of 10. I'm like, how does that happen? This is for like middle-aged women, not for 10-year-olds. So, you know, really started that whole quest to be able to get her to be healthy. And in the process, realized as she was going through her middle school aged years, all of the body shame and all of the just stuff that women carry. And so that really inspired me to write the book, because I really believe that love is the transformation. That's the bridge to healing. And if we can love ourselves, all parts of ourselves, even the parts that maybe we're not so thrilled about, whether that's a personality trait or even just something physically, that we can really have the healing. And that's where we get to have the transformation and the growth, and to be able to help ourselves to attain our health goals.
Oh my God. Something just came to mind, is that, you know, one of the things that I see most in coaching is a lack of self-love or self-worth.
Yeah.
And so being able to say, you know what, to yourself in a mirror, right? I love you, and truly mean it, and mean every part of you, even if there are things you'd like to change or improve. Mm-hmm. Can't you still love and want to improve? Right?
Absolutely.
Can't you still be where you are and be present and still want to evolve and grow? Right? Absolutely. Isn't that the purpose? It's not to say, hey, this is no good, I want this instead, but it's be happy what you have, want what you already have, and also strive to evolve and grow.
Absolutely.
Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Yes, excited for this year.
Yeah, me too. So, I mean, thank you all, ladies, for sharing your journey with our viewers today. We will continue our co-host interviews later in the show. Today, our trending topic of vision boards is based on research of New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions, have you heard that before? So research shows that as many as 50% of adults in the United States make New Year's resolutions, but fewer than 10% actually keep them for more than a few months. And it's usually around late February to March where old habits and mindset and behaviors set in, and people become frustrated and they give up. They lose a vision. They lose the connection to their purpose, right? What they want and why. And so giving up on New Year's resolutions is related to really 3 things. Difficulty breaking old habits, so maybe a lack of support. Focusing on specific outcomes. What do you want to have, your vision? And a lack of purpose. Why do you want it? Why is it so important? What will having that do for you? Right? And so when disconnected from what you want and why it's important and your purpose, it makes it challenging to stay motivated and to keep going and moving forward, because life throws in challenges, things come in the way. And when we're not focused and moving forward, Even if we're present, we still should be focused on what we want and why it's important, even if we have to overcome challenges that come our way, and that is okay, right? So uncertainty and hardship related to COVID-19 make it especially difficult to prioritize New Year's resolutions, right? But you can increase your chances of achieving your resolutions by setting realistic goals, right? First, having a vision. What is it that you want for your life? What is it that you want for the next 12 months? Why is it important? The purpose, right? And then goals, specific, measurable, and achievable goals, what you want, right? So you can measure that's outcome goals. And then there's process goals, the little goals that you set to help you reach the bigger goals, right? So for example, if you want to become a runner and run a marathon, so you're going to start with, how do you get there? Let's look at the outcome goal is, I want to run a marathon. The process goals could be, I'm going to train 4 days a week. And then each week you go through and say, how many days did I train? And now you're going to see why you are or aren't reaching your goals. And that helps you stay in line. And that's what a process goal is. And so, I have myself, but, have you ever found yourself excited about the new year, making new goals? I'm going to start over. I'm going to make a change, but you find yourself losing enthusiasm as the weeks go by. Usually by March, people are giving up. And so if you have, so have most of us. And so today's show is going to help you to thrive and reach your goals for 2021. And really a part of the solution is not only a vision and a purpose, where vision boards can help you stay focused on what you want and why it's important, but getting support throughout, support and accountability. And so today we're going to talk with Brianna and Genesis, who are vision board coaches. And shortly they're going to help us navigate between the whys, the what's, and the hows, and on creating a vision board. And it could look different. It could look different for everyone. So it's just an idea on how you can stay focused. So you're looking at what you want and why every day, instead of all of the other challenges that are coming in your way. But before we get into that, Sabrina is going to tell us about our first guest, Emma Jane Taylor from London. Let's bring them back in.
Yes. Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm excited. Our first guest, Emma Jane, is the CEO of The Works Company and author of the book, Don't Hold Back. This groundbreaking and revealing book shares the deeply moving story of this inspirational mentor, Emma Jane Taylor, of her courageous journey to heal from the trauma of child abuse and abandonment to the confident and empowered woman that she is today. By sharing her story of recovery, speaking up about forgiveness, Emma Jane Taylor offers hope and insight to the power of the possibilities. Emma Jane shares her harrowing experience that have brought her invaluable lessons in life, which has also led to her success in business and her personal life. Whatever your experience, Emma Jane, through her motivational tips and exercises, will provide you with the possibilities to discover yourself. Emma Jane does not hold back in her honesty and her compassion, and inviting you to find your own voice, to discover your untapped potential, and to dare to be you, because you do matter. Stacy, she'll begin this conversation with Emma Jane. Emma Jane, thank you for joining us. Hi. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, Stacy's going to unpack everything about you.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
Previously in the last season of Thriving Women Talk, Julian Keys pitches his LP to Cheryl Cobb, CEO of Cheryl Cobb Entertainment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is really, really nice.
As my pitch would be, with my business, we have the product out there right now. So we're looking at 10 million streams. Because when we originally released this project, it was literally a week and a half before COVID.
So I'm here to say that I am going to offer you some consultation for free. I'm going to offer you some consultation. I'll give you some broad things that across the entertainment industry that you need to know that may enhance and expand your brand.
Phil McComber shares her educational tool called iPact with Stacy and the Thrive Tribe.
That when kids map out their thoughts, whether it's in a concept map or in an actual writing of a report of some kind, or even solving a math problem, because that's I'll write about too, like let me figure the answer out, then they can actually see their thoughts. And that's really the important thing, because we know that when kids see their thoughts, they actually can improve the language that they're using.
Brianna and Whitney share their tips on thrifting like a boss to the Thrive Tribe.
People are looking for and what seasons they're looking for certain things in. So if you guys take a look, like literally at my turtleneck that I have on, I got this from a thrift store and it was only $1.
Looking for everything from true vintage pieces to recent sellout, high street buys. Selling up your profile and listing items is free, and you only pay 10% on top of your selling fee.
Thriving Women Talk streams live every Tuesday at 12 Eastern Standard Time on Thriving Women Network. Season 2 starts January 5th. Thriving Women Life Strategies is powered by Women Entrepreneurial Empowerment, commonly called WEE. The organization mission is empowering women entrepreneurs through a platform of visibility, education, and strategic growth and development within the networking arena. Their doors are open to women of all ages, millennials, new startups, small business, and those needing a boost. If you are committed to excellence and you want to know more about WEE platform, message founder Sabrina Protic on Facebook or email her at www.agelesstechniques.com. Back to Thriving Women Talk.
Welcome back to Thriving Women Talk. Our Thriving Women guest is streaming live from London, England. Emma, welcome to Thriving Women Talk. And thank you so much for sharing your time here with our tribe. I am so excited to have you on the show. So what's it like in London? What's the weather like there?
Well, it's dark and cold, and I've been watching you ladies out there in the sunny climates of the US, getting very jealous by the blue sky and the warmth that I can feel coming off of all of you. But yeah, it's cold, it's dark, it's damp. But actually it's quite refreshing as well. I kind of like the seasons. I quite like, I mean, I'm a summer girl, I'm a spring summer girl. I think the thing that we struggle with here in the UK is the dark mornings, the dark nights. So you don't get very many light hours. Obviously in the summer it's a lot greater, but you know, we're dark by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's quite intense on top of a cold and danky kind of day.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit on the short, doesn't it? Short day.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Emma, I would love to include you in the personality questions that we've been asking all of our other co-hosts
Sure.
by asking. If you could describe your personality using 3 words, what would it be and why?
I would say focused, dedicated, and passionate would be my 3 words.
I love that. Beautiful. So we have brought you onto the show, and I know your pictures are kind of all over the internet. You've been interviewed by magazines, YouTubers, journalists, House of Commons, so many different places. So I'm curious, what is the most common question you're asked? And what is your favorite question to answer?
Everyone asks me, what is success? And I guess my favorite question is, why do I do what I do? Because, you know, that's where my passion comes in. And it's a great question for me to answer.
Yes, yes. So, of course, now I want to know the answer. Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I'm very passionate about giving back, about making a difference and giving other people a voice, using my platform to give men and women across the world an opportunity to share their story, to have their voice shared, and for them to be their authentic self. Because authenticity, I'm sure we'll talk about that again, but later on in this interview, but authenticity is super important to everyone's life, you know, and when we go back to success isn't necessarily monetary, right? For me, it's much more about where I am now. Being here, having that interview, that's a success. I've stepped out of my fake world into my real world, into my authentic world. I'm transparent now. So that for me is about success. And that is exactly why I do what I do.
Wow. Well, that's so courageous. There's so many people and women that struggle with being authentic. They're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid that they're going to get, you know, shamed, or like, what will people think of me? And yeah, that's beautiful. So in your book, Don't Hold Back, you share that you were sexually abused at the age of 9 years old. And by 11 years old, your biological father told you he could not see you again. And it's something that really kind of took the wind out of your sails, I can imagine. And at the age of 13, you sadly fell into the hands of a family acquaintance who groomed you for the next 3 years. Or a few years, I should say. And you mentioned that throughout those teenage years, you turned to drinking excessively and taking drugs, and became bulimic, and you struggled with like OCD and night terrors and nausea. And by the age of 17, you were exhausted and you know, extremely anxious and nervous and suffering from PTSD. And then at the age of 19, you took off to Spain. And by the age of 24, you launched your business. So you lived a hard life, but you continued to thrive. And that's our mission here at Thriving Women. So can you share with our viewers maybe 3 pivotal moments in your life that enabled you to thrive through life adversaries, and you know, if there were maybe some mentors or some people that made a difference in your life?
Yeah, I think I would say I had an awakening when I went off to Spain. It was really about, you know, I guess I was running away, but I was also facing up to lots of realities about my past life, what had gone on in my world. And, you know, like I say, I was sadly abused at 9 years old. So already 10 years later, I was very confused and very complex by what had happened to me in my life. So at 19, I had 2 epiphanies, light bulb moments that made me look at my life differently. It kind of was my awakening. And going to Spain really was about, what do I do now? How do I do it? I was so lost. I was so confused. I didn't know what I was doing. I was still drinking heavily. I was still taking drugs. I was still very lost with all the things that you talked about earlier. I was bulimic. I had OCD. I had night terrors. I was paranoid. I was constantly nervous and feeling sick. So in those sort of 3 summers that I was out of the country, I kind of started looking at my life differently. And I would say that was like my like I say, my awakening. And it was how I then sort of moved that forward. So, you know, when I came back at 21, I really needed to understand what I needed to do. And it took me, I would say, 2 years to then go into therapy and understand what forgiveness meant to my life. And, you know, this is a very hard question, a hard thought process, because forgiving people who've hurt you is not something we kind of want to do, right? You know, I would say I would have taken someone's life when I was younger because I was so angry. I was so angry by what people had done to me. I was so angry that I had so much stripped from my childhood, and my memory was just so debilitated. You know, I was so depleted because of what the trauma I'd been through. But for me to move forward, I had to understand the power of forgiveness. So by letting go, it wasn't accepting how people treat you. You know, you do not abuse children. You do not abandon children and reject people. That is not forgivable. That's not something that's forgivable. But I also had to understand that I could never, ever be that person the perpetrator, and I will never understand. They have their own journey, so I have to understand that what they're going through is also something that, you know, is a difficulty of theirs, and they need their own help. So I needed to forgive them because I needed to free myself to grow. So after I had my awakening, I understood the power of forgiveness, and this took me quite a few years to forgive. And then from forgiveness, I understood the power of authenticity and transparency. So I would say from my awakening moment, when I was around 19, to my forgiveness and my authenticity, took probably about 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Because when you have been put through hardships and degraded and bullied and tortured and so on and so forth, you don't just get over this overnight, right? This is a journey. So my life story started when I was 9 years old. I'm 48 now, 49 this year. So, you know, 40 years has led me to be able to feel strong enough to stand here having this conversation about awakening, forgiveness, and authenticity, and the power of that and how it can improve your life and make you a success. You talked about mentors. I had a couple of mentors in my life. One was my ex-boss, Linda. She taught me the value of working hard. And I took that alongside my personal development. I had lots of therapists over the years. I was in junior psychiatric therapy at the age of 13. And I would say even now, I just check in sometimes with people, not because I continually need to go over my past, but because I need to grow as a person and move forward. I also have a client who's sadly no longer with us. He always kept me very balanced with my thought process professionally. And I had a great stepfather who guided me through with very great conversation and thought. So I had some significant people in my life who have really supported my personal and my professional growth, and I value each and every one of them. And I actually there's a list of people that I could name, but they're just the ones that came to my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so empowering and powerful to show, you know, what you've done over the years with your healing and your forgiveness. So you've taken that now and you're now helping others. You're the CEO of the Works Company, and you run a series of lifestyle businesses, including 4 performing arts schools and an online space called Breaking the Silence to support other victims. So I want to quote one of your inspiring statements on your website. And it says, I'm clear why I'm doing this. I want to make a difference to support many people suffering in silence. I want to remind people they have a voice and they can use that voice and really help themselves and close that gap of pain and hope. Your mission is so clear. I could hear that just not only like when I read that, but also just what you have shared with us today. So, tell us a little bit about why it's so important to speak out, to share our journey, to be authentic, and not to just hide and live in the shadows.
Okay, so uniting, having a conversation like this, Stacey, is really important. We're uniting. We are coming together. We are understanding that we are not alone. My journey, your journey, we've all got a story. But together we can really make a difference with our stories. I'm not saying you need to go and stand on a stage and shout about your story or write it in a book, but actually speaking to a family member or a friend or a therapist about your story will be a step forward. Until you release that inner demon, you're going to live in your own shadow, and you're going to be scared of your own shadow. So by letting it go and releasing it, gives you some freedom and liberation. Like I say, understanding we're not alone. Together we can make a difference. Our world is actually quite small when we look at the connections we have, but it's huge by a divide. So if we can bring that in, work together, and understand the power of collaboration and connection, our values and authenticity will grow and shine through to opportunities and success.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think this past year is a really good indicator of how important it is to collaborate and to really be able to form those connections and stick together. And like you've been suggesting too, to ask for help, right? To reach out, to have some mentors and to be able to take that space. So another thing that we noticed on your website, you stated, and I'm going to quote you here as well, too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful, and too determined to be defeated. So I'm curious, how did you develop your confidence here? And maybe what advice do you have for other women that might struggle with low self-esteem?
Okay, so I think probably you might be quite clear to you by now, living my truth gave me my confidence. You know, I hid behind this veil of a false life. You know, I was succeeding in life, in business. No one knew I was in therapy. No one knew my story. You know, when I went into business, I went into therapy, and that's how my life went for like 10, 15 years. And then I was asked to present a TV show here in the UK. And it was while I was doing that, I was thinking, do you know what? People see that I have businesses and a good life, but no one actually sees how I got here. And we all have a journey to get to where we've got to, whatever your success is. And I thought, you know what, this is now my time. This is now my opportunity to share my story. I was then asked by a magazine here in the UK, Venus Women magazine, if I would be on their front cover and share my professional story. And I said, yeah, of course. And that's when I dipped my toe into my real personal story. And I thought, you know what, this could car crash my career, but I need to do this. I need to do this for myself, for other women, for men. And also, you know, I'm a mother now for my daughter and her future and those next generations. I need to live my truth. And so I did. And my world has opened up to this huge success that I'm now living. And I don't mean monetary again. And the women who might be struggling with low self-esteem, right? We've all been there. But you need to understand what your story is. How can you align with it? How can you share it? How can you use your story to become your authenticity that can improve your esteem and move forward? It's terrifying. I remember sharing my story for the first time at a media event here in the UK. There was probably 20 people in the room and I was shaking. The next time I shared my story, there was maybe 300 people in the room and I was shaking. I was almost sick on the spot. And now my story is being shown and shared across the globe. It's been in a newspaper with 30 million people have read this story. And I'm proud of that now, right? I don't feel sick. I just feel proud that I've actually done that. I put my steel knickers on and pushed through. And you can do that too, ladies. But you don't need to do it on a grand scale. At the moment, just do it on a scale that is manageable for you to grow through it. Someone mentioned earlier, you grow through what you go through. That is so true. You grow through what you'll go through. Find someone to talk to. It's a really good start.
Yeah. Oh, that's such great advice. Thank you so much. Because I know that we hide behind our story or things that you know are pain and feel like it's going to make us a little bit, you know, less confident if we were to share it. And you're just sharing that it's actually for you, and for so many others, it's just the opposite. So I know you're a regular blogger. You do articles for social media. You mentioned you're a presenter for Be Real and Be You and Inspire Radio. And you write articles for Her Edit magazine. So I'm curious, what recognition or honor have you received that you are most proud of, and why?
Well, I'm actually proud of everything that I've achieved in my life. But the biggest honor for me was that I spoke at the House of Commons in 2019. I was asked to be a speaker for an event there. Now, when I left school, I was told I was a failure. I was told I was a girl going nowhere. And so for best part of those years, obviously, you know my story, I believed that. And then here I am speaking at the House of Commons with an MP here in the UK. And I thought, you know what? Don't ever listen to what you're told, because we can all be much better than that. So that was a huge honor for me. And a national newspaper here shared my story just before Christmas in 2020. And it was viewed by 30 million people across the world. And I would say that they would probably be my two proudest moments. And but actually I have one that tops that, and that's being a mum to my daughter.
Oh, I love that. I was just getting the chills. I don't know if our listeners are as well, but just what an amazing story. And, you know, it's to be able to hear, like you said, you know, the teachers that said, you know, this isn't going to happen for you. And we can believe things when we're younger, and so it can be so disheartening. And look, you know, look at where you're at right now. And I love your definition of success as well. And so I'm curious, what's your vision and your mission for 2021? And also, like, how can our viewers follow you and get a hold of your book, Don't Hold Back?
So 2021 is about being steady for me, about working with my community and finding our own peace. Followers can find me. I'm on Instagram, the Inspirational Mentor on Instagram. I'm EJ the Mentor on Twitter, and I'm the Inspirational Mentor on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you can get hold of me there, and you'll get all the contact details for me, and also my website is emmajanetaylor.com.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm really, really pleased to have you here. It's such an honor to hear this, and I know it's so inspiring for our listeners. And thank you so much. I know that we are going to now turn to Gina. She's going to be talking to us about and sharing what we have next for our listeners.
Thank you so much, Stacey. We really enjoyed that interview with Emma Jane and yourself. And so now we're going to go back to our co-hosts for a minute and get a little bit more about them. So we're going to start with Gina Marie Casano. She's a transformational coach from New York. Gina was introduced to Thriving Women show when we had a show on racism back in March of 2020. I don't know if you remember that, Gina. Gina was happy to share her perspective, and she had so much spirit and passion. Sounds like Sabrina, spirited. And we asked her to stay on as a co-host. Gina, it's your turn. Describe your personality in 3 words and why. Make sure you're not muted, because I think you're muted.
Thank you for that. Oh, 3 words. Okay. I am passionate, deeply passionate. I am adventurous, and I am a calculated risk taker.
I'm going to agree with that.
The reason why is I feel like adventure is exciting, and it creates new opportunity. And so I look for adventure to inspire me for new ways of thinking, new ways of being, whether it's being adventurous, like outside, doing things like hiking or zip lining or things like that, or traveling around the world, like whatever it is. I love adventure, and I've learned so much from others and the experience. It really helps me to connect with myself. As far as being passionate, we talked about this earlier in the show, I wholeheartedly believe that when you have passion, you have a fire in your soul, you are then unstoppable. So when you're passionate and you're focused and you're looking forward and you have something that means something to you, that's what's going to keep me motivated, when I'm connected to my passion. And so I really believe that, you know, having passion is essential for thriving. And I learned that the hard way. And a calculated risk taker. Yeah, one of the things that I firmly believe is that it's important to take risks and to take chance. And I'll give you an example. A risk that I took was quitting my corporate job and starting my own business. That was a risk. It was a big risk. But I took a risk on myself, and I weighed the pros and the cons, and I weighed the option. And I also knew that if I didn't, then what? Then where am I going? Will I be able to follow my passion? Will I be able to have what I truly want? And sometimes you have to stretch out of your comfort zone and get uncomfortable being comfortable, or comfortable being uncomfortable in order to grow and to thrive. And so that's where that came from.
Wow, you know what? And I'm going to say I can see that in your personality because you are spirited, but you are calculated. I mean, you bought this house up in the mountains, way off, who knows where. I don't know if I'd have done that, but you did, and it's beautiful. So
Thank
yeah, you are adventurous. So tell us why Thriving Women. What attracted you to Thriving Women? What do you like about it?
Oh my gosh, a platform to be authentic and to have conversations on topics that matter and that are important. And we have an opportunity to bring in our own experience and to share. And I think that is super important for learning and growing and evolving and supporting others, is to show up and be vulnerable and get to share. And I know I've been vulnerable in the show. I think many of us have. And I feel like that's how this is a platform to be able to be seen and heard and share so other people can have support and grow. Right? So Thriving Women is amazing.
It is an amazing show. And with that being said, thank you so much, Gina. I want to bring on the screen Brianna Johnson. And what we want to find out from Brianna is she's a financial coach, and we want her to give us her 3 personality traits real briefly, Brianna.
All right. So my 3 would be relentless, creative, and driven.
Wow. Well, we can see that because you built a phenomenal business. And tell us why Thriving Women.
Actually, I'm an advocate for just getting together with women just to empower each other. So I really enjoy the show because we definitely ignite each other. So that's why Thriving Women for me.
Beautiful. Thank you we love your energy that you bring. Let's bring on Sylvia Camacho. We want to hear from Sylvia. Sylvia, hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
Sylvia is a financial coach from California. So give us your 3 personality traits briefly.
Wow, Sabrina, my 3 big is I'm energetic, independent, and emotionally strong. Energetic, I never stop. Always up and about. When I'm sitting down in the couch on Sundays, they're like, something's wrong with you. You have a problem. Independent, I like to take care of myself. And emotionally strong, I am more adapted to the changes of my environment. Like, it's gonna be a year tomorrow that I quit my job of 16 years. So I had to adapt to my new transition of being being a financial coach. And I just love to be outdoors. I like to fly like a bird. And what I love about the show, that I'm being more confident, stepping out of the comfort zone where I cannot be like in front of a camera and talking to other people. So that's really, I love to be with you guys and interact with the different adversaries of us. That's what I love.
Thank you so much. And why Thriving Women?
Why Thriving Women? I just love the energy. I love that we are so diverse and we come together and we don't talk about, like we say, politics, religion. It just, we share us. We share everything that is going on us and that we're unique. That's what we are. So we are so unique.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Whitney Hartford. Thank you, Sylvia. And Whitney, take yourself off mute. And what are your 3 personality traits?
So my 3 personality traits is I'm a goal boss, I'm very inspired, and I'm a dreamer. And the reason why I'm a goal boss is I'm always striving and working towards some kind of goal to achieve. If you know me, there's something that I'm working on, whether it's myself or my kids. So I'm always striving to achieve some kind of goal in my life. And my second one is being inspired. I get inspired to inspire others. That's been something I've also done my whole life. Is it inspires me to inspire other people. And I dream. I like to dream about things that I like to do. And I like to do those things. I love fashion. I love being able to dress up. I love being able to do things I've dreamt of and pursue my passions. So I would think those are 3 personality traits that strongly describe who I am.
Okay. And why Thriving Women?
Well, I believe this is a great opportunity to be a co-host on Thriving Women Talk, just because of the information and experiences that this wonderful group of beautiful women from different backgrounds get to share and bring awareness not only to myself, but to our viewers, and to thrive from, to grow and learn from. And I couldn't think of a better group to be around to help me grow and develop.
Thank you so much, Whitney. As a matter of fact, thank all of our co-hosts today. And we want to bring everybody together with these beautiful words from Sylvia Camacho. She has always entered our show in Spanish, and we're going to have her sum it up for us. Come on in, Sylvia.
Thank you, Sabrina. Pues, bienvenido al podcast Hablando con Mujeres Prósperas. Este podcast está diseñado para alentarle, equiparle y capacitarle para el crecimiento y el éxito. El podcast Hablando con Mujeres Prósperas está afiliado con Trendsetter Mentor Group, una membresía exclusiva para mentoría. Decidimos empezar la segunda temporada entrevistando brevemente a nuestras anfitrionas. Nos llamamos La Tribu que Triunfa porque somos 8 mujeres emprendedoras de diversos grupos étnicos. Lo que nos hace único que hablamos de, lo que no hablamos nosotros es de política ni de religión. Nosotras empoderamos a nuestros oyentes a florecer y a prosperar. Tenemos una nueva anfitriona. Bienvenida. Hablando con Mujeres Prósperas, Genesis Hey Crick. Es un honor tenerte en nuestro equipo. Nuestro tema candente de hoy es las resoluciones de Año Nuevo, pero menos del 10% mantiene sus resoluciones por 3 razones. Dificultad de mantener los malos hábitos, centrándose en los resultados específicos y problemas de propósito. Nuestra anfitriona Stacy Piso entrevistó a nuestra invitada Emma Jean desde Inglaterra. Imagínense, estamos internacionales. Del libro Don't Hold Back. La misión de Emma es ayudar a otras personas a que sufren en silencio, que ellos también tienen voz. Y una vez más, gracias por estar con nosotros, por emprender el viaje con nosotras y escuchar Hablando con Mujeres Prósperas. Traído a ustedes por Trendsetter Mentor Group. Que tengan un excelente día y ahora regresamos contigo, Sabrina.
Much, Sylvia. Thank you so much. We had a great show, and we'll hear more about some of our co-hosts next week. Maybe we can get a little bit more in depth and hear a little bit more. And we want to thank everybody. We want to thank, if you can bring them all on screen, we've got, there you go, Noelle, Whitney, Sylvia, Gina, Brianna, Genesis. Thank you so much. We learned so much more about you. We didn't get to spend as much time with some of you. We're going to make up for that next week. So if you didn't get your full say, you'll get it next week. Okay. So we want to thank all of you, especially our guest, Emma Jane, for coming on and being our special guest today and sharing her story. Emma Jane Taylor. She did a phenomenal job of going deep within her past. Thanks, Stacy, for that interview. We always want to bring topics of empowerment to you each week. We're the Thrive Tribe, and we want to empower you and inspire you. We want to thank our producer, Daryl A. Johnson. Each week, he brings us topics that are relevant to us. And our executive, engineer, Alan Chafin, he's always on the ball with keeping everything tight on the show. And tune in next week to another inspiring and empowering Thriving Women Talk. We also invite you to our sister station, which is Uncomfortable Conversation, which airs every Wednesday, 8 a.m. with Ricky Burney and Walter Parker. So again, we're the Thrive Tribe. Thank all of you, Noel Ramos, Whitney Hartford, Gina Marie Casano, Sylvia Camacho, Stacy Peasaw, Brianna Johnson, Genesis Creek. Join us next week. We promise we'll inspire you and empower you.